Good morning, students. Welcome to Hardcore 2 class. In this class, let us study about structural organization and function of plastids. So, plastids are semi-autonomous organelles having DNA and double membrane envelope which store or synthesize various types of organic compounds, and the term plastid was introduced by E. Haeckel in the year of 1866. With the exception of some of our Protestants, the plastids are restricted to plants only, and the exceptions are Euglena, Dinophyceae and also diatoms. In this case, we are going to observe the plastids, but these plastids are restricted to plants only. And these plastids develop from colorless precursor called as a proplastids. The colorless precursor that is called as proplastids. From this we are going to observe the formation of etioplast, chloroplast, chromoplast and also amyloplast. And we are going to observe various types of plastids. Let us see one by one. That is types of plastids. Mainly there are three types of plastids. They are leucoplast, chromoplast and also chloroplast. So first let us know about leucoplast. So leucoplast, the colorless plastids, they are also called as a colorless plastids, which generally occur near the nucleus in non-green cells and possesses internal lamellae. And here in the leucoplast there will be the absence of grana and also photosynthetic pigments. And these leucoplasts have variable size and a form. For example, they may be in the shape of round, oval, cylindrical or filamentous forms. And in the leucoplast there are again divided into three types. First one is the amyloplast. So these amyloplasts are starch containing leucoplast, and amyloplast is a several times larger than the original size of the leucoplast. So compared to leucoplast, amyloplasts are larger in size, and it contains a simple or compound starch grain covered by a special protein sheath. For example, potato tuber, rice and also wheat. In this case we are going to observe the amyloplast. And next is the second one among the leucoplast is ileoplast. They are also called as lipidoplast and also oleoplast. So these are the colorless plastids. They are going to store the fat. For example, the tuberose. So in the tuberose we are going to observe the presence of ileoplast. And a third one is the aleuroplast or proteoplast or proteinoplast. So these are the plastids. They contain protein in amorphous or crystalloid or crystallogloboid state. For example, aleuron cells of maize grain and also endosperm cells of a castor. They are going to consist of a aleuroplast. So this is about the types of leucoplast. So in the diagram you are going to observe from the proplastid these are going to arise. First one is the amyloplast. So they are consisting of a starch. And second one is the ileoplast. They consist of a fat. The ileoplast, they consist of a fat. And also third one is the aleuroplast. They consist of a proteins. And the second one among the plastid is chromoplast. Here the chroma means color and plastos means molded. And the plastids are yellow or reddish in color because of presence of carotenoid pigments. So in the chromoplast we are going to observe the presence of pigments, and chlorophylls are absent. So in the chromoplast the chlorophyll is absent, and chromoplasts are formed either from leucoplast or chloroplast. Lamellae degenerate partially or completely during the chromoplast formation, and change of color from green to reddish during the ripening of tomato and chili is due to the transformation of chloroplast to chromoplast. So when we are going to observe the tomatoes and chili, the color change we are going to observe, and this is due to the transformation of chloroplast to the chromoplast. And these chromoplasts are going to provide color to many flowers for attracting the pollinating insect, and also they provide bright red and orange color to fruits for attracting animals for dispersal, and they are also the site of synthesis of membrane lipids. So these are some of the functions of a chromoplast. And the last one is the chloroplast. So chloros means green and plastos means molded. So these chloroplasts are greenish plastids which possess photosynthetic pigments, chlorophylls and carotenoids, and take part in the synthesis of food from inorganic raw materials in the presence of radiation energy. So these chloroplasts, by utilizing the radiation energy, they are going to synthesize a food. And chloroplast of algae other than the green ones are called chromatophores. For example, the rhodoplast of red algae and pheophlas of brown algae. So this is about the chloroplast. So in the diagram you are going to observe the chloroplast. It is green in color, and the chromoplast, they are pigmented, and here there will be the absence of chlorophyll. Next is the number of plastids. So in the number of chloroplasts per cell of algae, there is usually fixed for a species. So the number is fixed for a species, and species to species the number of plastids may vary. The minimum number of one chloroplast per cell is found in green alga, Ulothrix and several species of Chlamydomonas. However, different species of genus may have different number of chloroplasts. For example, Spirogyra indica, there will be presence of one plastid and chloroplast, and also in case of Spirogyra rectospora we are going to observe the 16 in number. And also leaf of Chlorenchyma cells, it also consists of 20 to 40 number of chloroplasts, and in case of Cara we are going to observe several hundred chloroplasts. And next is the shape of the plastid. The shape of the plastid also vary from species to species. In alga, the chloroplasts have various shapes, and they might be plate-like in case of Ulothrix, cup-shaped in case of Chlamydomonas, ribbon-shaped in Spirogyra, polygonal or stellate in case of Zygnema, and also reticulate in case of Erogonium. So in your practical classes you might have observed these different shapes of plastids. And in higher plants we are going to observe the disc-shaped plastids. Next is the size of the plastids. So the size also varies from species to species. In a higher plants the size may be 4 to 10 picometer in length and also 2 to 4 picometer in breadth. And in case of Spirogyra, the length is about 1 mm in size. And next is the chemical composition. So The plastids, they consist of a protein of 50 to 60%, lipids of 25 to 30%, chlorophyll of 5 to 10%, and also carotenoids, that is 1 to 2%, DNA up to 0.5%, RNA 2 to 3%, and also some of the vitamins like vitamin K and also vitamin E. And there will be the presence of quinones, magnesium, iron, cobalt, manganese. So these are present in very little, that is in the traces amount. So next is structure of plastids. In that, let us study the structure of chloroplast. So chloroplast, it has a 3 parts, that is envelope, matrix, and also thylakoid. So you are going to observe the structure of chloroplast. In this, there will be the presence of a envelope. It is also called as chloroplast envelope, and also the matrix and also the thylakoids. So the chloroplast, it also consists of pyrenoids and also stigma as a additional structure in case of some of the algae. So in some of the algae, we are also going to observe the presence of pyrenoids and also stigma. So first, among the structure of the plastids, it is consisting of the chloroplast envelope. So this chloroplast is covered by an envelope made up of 2 smooth membranes. Each membrane is about 90 to 100 angstrom thickness, and it has trilamellar lipoprotein structure. The 2 membranes are separated by a membrane called intermembrane space of 100 to 200 angstrom width, and the outer membrane may be attached to endoplasmic reticulum. At places, the inner membrane is connected to the thylakoid. So in the diagram, you are going to observe the inner membrane, it is going to connected with the thylakoids. As the mitochondria, the outer membrane is more permeable than the inner membrane. The inner membrane has more of a protein, including the carrier proteins. So in the inner membrane, we are going to observe the presence of a carrier proteins. So second one is the matrix. So this matrix, the ground substance of the chloroplast, is known as a matrix, or it is also called as a stroma, and it is a semi-fluid colloidal complex that is made up of 50% of soluble proteins, and the remaining is DNA, RNA, ribosomes, and also some of the enzymes. And the chloroplast may have several copies of it, and DNA makes the chloroplast genetically autonomous because it can both replicate and also transcribe to form RNA, and the chloroplast ribosomes are of 70S. They resemble the ribosomes of a prokaryotes. So next is the third part, that is the thylakoids. So thylakoids are membrane lined flattened sacs which run throughout the stroma or matrix of the chloroplast. So thylakoids, these are the flattened sac like structures. Since they take part in photosynthesis, they are also called as photosynthetic thylakoids because the photosynthesis occurs in the thylakoids. So they are called as photosynthetic thylakoids. These are the structural elements of chloroplast. They generally run parallel but may show interconnections. So these are arranged in a parallel manner, and these thylakoids are interconnected. And thylakoids may also be attached to the inner membrane of chloroplast envelope. In the chloroplast of higher plants, the thylakoids are stacked at place to form grana. So when these thylakoids are stacked, the whole structure is called as a granum. And 40 to 60 grana may occur in a chloroplast, and each granum has 2 to 100 thylakoids. So each grana consists of 2 to 100 thylakoids, and grana are absent in bundle sheath and algal chloroplast. And because of the presence of grana, thylakoids are differentiated into two, that is granule thylakoids and stroma or intergranule thylakoids. And granum is attached to only a few stroma or non-granule thylakoids. And these thylakoid membranes possess photosynthetic pigments and coupling factors. And coupling factors are involved in synthesis of the ATP. So the coupling factors which are present in the thylakoid membrane, they are going to help in the synthesis of ATP. And also the photosynthetic pigments including chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, carotene and also xanthophylls are also present. They occur in specific groups called as a photosystems. There are two photosystems, that is photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. And the photosystem 2 occurs in a oppressed part of a granule thylakoids, while photosystem 1 found in the stromal thylakoid and non-oppressed part of a granule thylakoids. So this is about the structure of plastids. So next is the function of plastids. So first function, they are helpful in the photosynthesis. That is, these chloroplasts or plastids are the centers of photosynthesis and helps in a formation of organic compounds from inorganic raw materials. And second, they help in energy transduction. That is, they are able to trap sun energy and change it into the chemical energy. Next is consumption of carbon dioxide. They are going to pick up the carbon dioxide and use the same in case of a photosynthesis. And also they help in a storage of a starch. They are going to store the starch either temporarily or permanently. Next is a photosensitivity. That is, chloroplast of some algae, they are going to provide photosensitivity because of the presence of stigma or eye spot. And also they helps in storage of lipids. That is, chloroplast store fat in the form of a plastoglobuli. So these are the plastoglobuli, they are going to store the fats. And also the next function is the formation of chromoplast. They can be changed into chromoplast to provide color to many flowers and fruits for attracting the animals. So these are some of the functions of plastids. By this we came to know about the structure and function of the plastids. Thank you.